Today we're going to be outlining the enhanced graph features for Build 900. The areas we're going to cover today include multiple separate graphs, toolbar enhancements, annotations, and scheduled download. The Argus graphs have a new window that's been extensively updated with 3 key additions, allowing multiple graphs, new toolbar and a graph window, and creating and using annotations. Allowing multiple graphs. Graphs are now merged in the software rather than a separate application. If you open a graph, it's embedded in your window, but still allows the option of having a graph in a separate window if preferable. You can now display multiple graphs on the screen. Click File and select Open Separate Graph. You now have a copy of the graph you can move around. To display multiple graphs, you first need to change the graph from Graph Entry, Embedded, to Graph Control, Independent. As you can see, the graph is now able to move around the screen or onto a separate monitor. To embed it again, just change it back to a graph entry. For more than one graph, change each graph from Graph Entry to Graph Control. It usually takes a few seconds for each graph to display. Once the graphs are independent, you can move them around or separate each one to have them on multiple screens. Each line on the graph is a channel or parameter. You can add or delete channels and show or hide existing channels. Follow the selection instructions to add a new channel. Show or hide specific channels by checking or unchecking each channel in the legend. Using the Channel Properties tab, you can delete a channel, change its color, and see what unit it's using, but you can't change units. You can also list all graph data in a tabular or table format. Click the Tabular Data tab. Graph data is listed in the table, with each channel in its own column. You select this data by copying and then pasting into another application, such as Excel. Ctrl+A selects all table data. The third tab is the Axis Scale tab, allowing you to change the axis scale. The toolbar has been enhanced with many of the old features you enjoyed and updated with new functionality. The ability to turn the toolbar on and off. The edit menu has been reorganized. Scaling, display, and interval menu options are now buttons for better access. Sharpen data has been turned into drop-down menus, sample rate and noise filter. The tabular, horizontal, and vertical buttons have been removed and are accessed directly under the graph in Tab View. The Show Only Graph option allows you to turn the toolbar on and off to display just the graph if necessary. First, right-click an existing graph entry and select Properties. Change Display As from Graph Entry to Graph Control. Right-click the top title bar and select Show Graph Only. Both the toolbar and the legend have disappeared. To have the toolbar and legend reappear, select Show as Regular Graph. Other toolbar updates. Save and Exit have been removed from the File menu. Scaling, Display, and Interval have been removed from the Edit menu and are buttons. Scaling options. All graph buttons now allow you to hover over them to get a tooltip. The legend now has its own menu. Sharpen data. Interval and X-axis time controls. Y-axis data channel scaling. Tab data, tabular data, channel properties, and axis scale. The legend can now be displayed or not, and you can change the legend alignment and direction. Sharpen data is now drop-down menus, including sample rate and noise filter. The tabular, horizontal, and vertical buttons were removed and are accessed directly into the graph in Tab View. Select whether the legend is visible or hidden. Select legend alignment on the graph, either bottom, top, left, or right. Select legend direction on the graph, either top to bottom or left to right. Creating and using annotations. You can now add, edit, or delete annotations. Same idea as a channel note, to any X or Y data point on a graph. Show data value with mouse hover must be checked before annotations are active. Now you can see each data point on the graph. Right-click the graph area you want to note and select Add Annotation. Enter multiple lines of text in the top text box. Change the font type, size, and emphasis. Change the text color. Change the background color. Once the colors are set, the dialog changes so you can change the opacity. Check the box to have a border around the annotation. Uncheck to hide the border. Right-click to edit an existing annotation. You can change any of the options we just outlined. Right-click to delete an existing annotation. A message is displayed. Click Yes to delete the annotation. The Scheduled Download utility allows you to leverage the large data recording capabilities of the Argus Titan system for exporting and analyzing data collected and stored by the system. You can automatically export recorded data from an Argus graph. The dialog configures a scheduled download task. Your system can record the state of any sensor or parameter as often as once per second. It is viewed and manipulated in both graphical and tabular form, and any number of graphs are saved for later recall. You can automatically export the contents of selected graph reports at defined intervals. The data is exported as tab delimited files for importing into database and spreadsheets for analysis and manipulation. In Build 900, Scheduled Download has been moved to the Tools tab under the Configuration menu and out of the Argus graphs. Select the Add or Edit button on the Scheduled Task List dialog. Follow the Browse instructions and select an existing Argus graph to use as a download model. Right-click and select Scheduled Download Selection. The Scheduled Download task dialog opens, and you can enter various information for the scheduled download. Configure Email Out if necessary, entering the fields for the email. More email out information is in the online help. Enter dataset parameters, sampling interval, noise filter, scheduled time and method, file break, destination, and unit fields. Click the Help button for information on any of these fields. You return to the main Scheduled Task List dialog, and your new task has been added to the list. Once the criteria has been set to email a scheduled download, it's ready to email to one or more recipients and recurs at the same time the files are downloaded to the Argus server PC location. Files are attached to the email message. The Configure Email Out button allows you to configure the scheduled download, subject, email body, text body, and who receives the email. Email Out configuration must be completed first, as outlined in the online help. For more information on all the graph enhancements, see the graph section of the online help. Thank you for watching the video today as we outline what's new in Build 900. For more information, contact Argus support.